One of the biggest problems that most traders have is the fear of execution. Doing the technical analysis part, that's not that hard, right? That's very easy in my opinion, I think, but acting on it, being able to press the buy button to jump into a trade, that is very tough. That is not an easy thing to do, and most traders are not able to do that. So in today's video, we're gonna focus on fear of execution and how to overcome that in your trading journey. Execution in theory is very simple. All you have to do is click on the buy button to jump into a trade, and that single tiny click can be the difference between you making money or losing money. And that's where the fear factor comes in, because most people are afraid of losing money when they're jumping into the trades. Now, losing money in the market is part of trading. Getting used to that is gonna take you guys a little bit of time. You know, being able to accept the losses, being able to walk away without letting that loss affect you, it's not something that's gonna happen overnight. It is definitely going to take you a little bit of time. But fear of execution, that's something people have a problem with long term, because having that great entry point can have a big impact on the outcome of your trades. So why do most people freeze when they're about to enter a trade? There's 3 reasons as to why most people, including myself, have frozen or freeze in front of a trade before they execute. Not having enough conviction. You don't fully trust your setup. Now, because you don't trust your setup, you're not going to be fully convinced to take the trade. By the time that conviction kicks in, you see the trade actually playing out in the direction that you were hoping for, it's too late. Now that execution starts to fall more into a chase rather than you following your plan. No risk management. You don't have a fixed stop loss. You don't know what your position size is going to be, right? You're pretty much all over the place in terms of risk management. And this is going to lead to you freezing. Now, very simple trick to overcome that. Have a pre-planned stop loss. If you have a pre-planned stop loss and a position size set from the weekend or the day before or night before, it's gonna be much easier for you to go into the trade with proper risk management. And third, this is something I'm convinced every single trader goes through: scared money, right? You are trading with the money you cannot afford to lose. Now, if you can't afford to lose that money, you're constantly only going to be looking for making money in the market, which, like I mentioned earlier, is not possible. Losing is part of trading. You have to learn to lose a little bit. The better you are at losing money and walking away, the better you're gonna get at trading overall. If you can relate with these 3 things, it's a very simple fix. All you have to fix is your mind and the preparation going into each trading day. It's going to take away 90% of your problems that come with fear of execution. So let's break down conviction. When you're going into a trade, you need to be 100% certain that this is your trade plan. If the stock does X, Y, and Z, it has a high probability of going to X, Y, and Z level, right? If you're not sure, if you have zero confidence in your trading plan or yourself, you're not going to pull the trigger. And confidence is going to be one of the biggest factors in terms of pulling the trigger, because when you're confident, your conviction rate is going to be high and you're going to enter the trade without thinking twice. And that only comes when you're well prepared. Which brings me to the next part, preparation, right? Preparation equals confidence. Now, this is not something that you can boil down in a single sitting. It's gonna take you some time. You have to keep trying. It's kind of like the first time you try to learn how to tie your shoe, right? The first time you messed up, second time you got a little bit better. By the 5th or 7th time, you see that now you're able to tie your shoe much faster than before. That's the same thing with preparation. The more you put in time in preparing for the market, the better you're gonna get, the better risk management you're gonna have, the higher confidence you're gonna have in yourself in pulling that trigger. So before you get into a trade, have a clear plan where you're gonna enter, why you're gonna enter, what's your reason to enter, what is your set stop loss, and what is your goal out of the trade. Are you scalping? Do you plan on day trading? If you're scalping, where's your exit strategy? If you're day trading, what does the stock need to do in order for you to hold that stock for a longer period of time, right? Because a day trade is you're gonna hold that setup for quite some time. It's not a 1 or 30-second trade. That's gonna fall more into a scalping strategy. And if that trade doesn't offer 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio, is it even worth taking the trade? Meaning, if your stop loss is 10%, you're at least making 20% on that trade for you to walk away where your win to loss ratio makes sense for you. Now, these things are gonna come in before you enter a trade. When the trade is actually happening or the setup is actually presenting itself to you, if you sit there trying to plan that trade out and try to prepare for that trade at that moment, you're gonna miss the trade, right? It's kind of like going to the airport not packing and standing by the plane and starting to pack everything from your house at that point. It doesn't make sense, right? You should have done that. You should have been prepared. You should have packed your stuff. You should have showed up to the airport 2-3 hours before your flight. And that's called preparation. That's how you show up when you're taking a trade as well. Well, now, once you guys have all these things down, next thing is money management, right? Which is your position size management. I've made videos on all of these topics. Next, which kind of bundles all of these things together, is going to be money management or position management. Going into a trade, capital is going to be your biggest weapon. So you want to use it wisely. You don't want to just use that capital on any random trade. A well-prepared trade is going to give you a great return. An unprepared trade is going to cause you to lose consistency. So protect your capital with proper position sizing. Without risk management, even the best setups will bleed you dry. So make sure you guys have a well-prepared plan. You're prepared before the market opens. Go through this checklist that I just gave you guys in this video. Now, on each one of the topics that I mentioned throughout this video, I've made separate videos on my channel. Go check it out, because learning about strategies and all these other things, these are second step. Your first step is always going to be how well prepared you are, because once you learn that strategy, executing on that strategy is a whole different ballgame, right? A lot of people are fearful of jumping into trades because they don't want to lose money. So there's few things that you can do to avoid being fearful. And most of the things that I mentioned earlier in this video, I've made a full breakdown video in my channel in the previous weeks that you guys can go and watch. They will help you guys understand how to have better risk management, how to have a better approach, what type of strategy you can add. This pretty much is going to bundle everything together in terms of how you can become a great trader. If you guys enjoyed this video, comment below what other topics I should cover, because majority of the videos that I've been making are all coming in from your suggestions. So I'd love to hear your feedback, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video.